Good day, first year English literature students. Today we are going to do a new poem by Dryden, Alexander's Feast. We have already done one poem by Dryden, and the name was Shadwell. And today we are going to do Alexander's Feast. We all know who was Alexander. Alexander the Great. He was bent upon winning the whole world. And in this poem, we find the clubbing of two pieces of time. The time when Alexander was ambitious of winning the whole world, and the time when Timotheus lived. Timotheus was a great musician, and these two times have been clubbed. They were not contemporaries, but Dryden wanted us to know the power of music. The subtitle of this poem is also The Power of Music. So we have to imagine that Alexander is throwing a party. He is giving a grand feast because he has recently won Persia. And in that feast, Timotheus, the great musician, is invited, and that great musician is playing different sort of music, and he and his band he along with his band is singing a lot of different songs. And this poem is about the effect of those different songs on Alexander. Actually, Dryden wants us to know the effect of music. What sort of effect music has on one's mind. So he is experimenting that effects of music on Alexander. Actually, he wants us to show that if Alexander the Great can be moved by different sorts of music, we are common human beings. So, let us start with this poem. It was at the royal feast for Persia won by Philip's warlike son. Aloft in awful state, the godlike hero sate on his imperial throne. His valiant peers were placed around, their brows with roses and with myrtles bound. So should desert in arms be crowned. So as I told you that we have to imagine that there is a great stage where Alexander is placed. Why? Because he is throwing a party for celebrating his victory over Persia, and he has invited a lot of people, and he has also invited Timotheus, who is the great musician. And before starting with the poem, let me give you an explanation of the effect of music. When we watch a movie or a TV serial, what sort of musics do you notice? You notice that when a happy scene is going on, there is a different sort of music. When there is a tension in that serial or a movie, a different sort of music goes on, and during a sad scene, a sad music goes on. So we all know and we all accept that there are different sort of musics for different feelings. So it is clear that different sorts of music arouse different sort of feelings. So here also Timotheus is experimenting the effects of music on the mind of Alexander. He will play different sorts of musics and see the effect on the mind of Alexander. So the background is that it was at the royal feast. So who is giving the royal party? Alexander. He is Philip's warlike son. Alexander's father was Philip, and Alexander was warlike. He was a valiant hero. So it was a royal party, and the reason for throwing the party was that Alexander has recently won Persia. Aloft in awful state, the godlike hero sate. Aloft means at a higher place, at a high stage. In awful, awful means wonderful state, the godlike hero sate. Who is the godlike hero? Alexander is the godlike hero. Why he is called godlike? Because he is very, very powerful on his imperial throne. So Alexander is sitting on his imperial throne, and he is not sitting alone on the stage. He is being surrounded by his valiant peers. Valiant means brave. Peers means companions. Those people who helped him to win the battle are also given the place of importance, because they are also placed around the godlike hero Alexander. So on that aloft, awful state, on that stage, on that imperial throne, Alexander is sitting, and with him are sitting his valiant peers, his brave companions, their brows with roses and with myrtles bound. Now, brows means their eyebrows. They are wearing a tiara sort of thing, natural tiara made of roses and made of creepers. So why they are wearing those natural tiaras? Because it is the crown. It is honor conferred to their bravery. So the poet says, so should desert in arms be crowned. Desert means deserving. These people are deserving in arms. Arms means battle. These people deserve this sort of honor. So they should be honored in this way only. So to revise the first stanza, the poet says that Alexander the Great has thrown a grand, large and royal party. Why? Because he is celebrating the victory over Persia, and he is sitting on a very high throne, godlike hero. He is a godlike hero because he is all powerful, and with him are sitting his valiant peers, his companions who are brave. And all these people have been crowned by roses and myrtles. Why? Because they deserved to be honored in such a manner, because they are brave, and recently they have won this battle. So the next stanza, the lovely Twas by his side sate like a blooming eastern bride, in flower of youth and beauty's pride. Happy, happy, happy pair, none but the brave, none but the brave, none but the brave deserves the fair. So, by the side of Alexander the Great, his wife is sitting. Lovely Twas. And what is the name of his wife? Twas. And she is a Persian lady. The lovely Twas by his side sate like a blooming eastern bride. Now here it is a simile. Twas is being compared with a blooming eastern bride. Why? Because eastern brides are decorated in a very bright manner. They are decked up. So she is also looking like an eastern bride in flower of youth and beauty's pride. So flower of youth, she is youthful, she is very young, and she is beautiful. So here we have an example of metaphor. In flower of youth, youth is compared with a flower, and beauty's pride. She is proud of being beautiful, or she is the proud possessor of beauty and youth. Happy, happy, happy pair, none but the brave deserves the fair. Now you see the repetition of these words, happy, happy, happy. So this is an alliteration also, but this is also a refrain. Now what is the difference between alliteration and refrain? Alliteration is a repetition of similar consonant sounds, but refrain is a repetition of the word or the whole line. So you see this word happy, happy, happy is being repeated, and even the line none but the brave is being repeated 3 times. So what does he want to say? The poet wants to say that only the brave person deserves a beautiful woman. Alexander is brave and Twas is very beautiful. So he says none but the brave, means no other person except the brave person deserves the fair. The fair means beautiful bride. Next stanza. Timotheus placed on high amid the tuneful choir, with flying fingers touched the lyre, and the trembling notes ascend the sky, and heavenly joys inspire. The song began from Jove, who left his blissful seats above. Such is the power of mighty love. Now, Timotheus, as I told you, he is the great ancient musician. He is also placed on a high stage. You see the kind of honor which was conferred on music and on musicians. Amid the tuneful choir, he is also not sitting alone. As Alexander, he is surrounded by his valiant peers. So Timotheus is also surrounded by his choir, his band of musicians. With flying fingers touched the lyre. Now what is a lyre? Lyre is a musical instrument, and he started playing the lyre. And with flying fingers, see the expression, he is playing the music with such dexterity, with such skill, that his fingers seem not to touch the lyre, as if they are flying. The trembling notes accent the sky. Notes means notes of music. Trembling. The notes of music, they are not even, but they are trembling, because sometimes they rise and sometimes they fall. They accent the sky, and heavenly joys inspire. So first of all, he has started with a song of Jove, with a religious song. So he has started with such a song which will inspire heavenly joys, not earthly joys but heavenly joys. So he has started with a hymn, HYMN. What is a hymn? A song sung in the praise of God. So the song began from Jove. Jove is a Greek god. He is also called Zeus, who left his blissful seat above. Such is the mighty power of love. So he has started singing in such a way that it seemed that even Jove left his seat in heaven, and he was so much impressed by the song, and he also came to witness this celebration. So this is an exaggeration, this is an hyperbole. What does the poet want to say? The poet wants to say that he was singing in such a beautiful manner that it seemed as if Jove was himself present in the party. So he started singing with the praise of Jove. So this stanza is in the praise of Jove. He relates a story. There's a story that how was Alexander born. Everybody said that Alexander is not a common human being. He is the son of Jove himself. He's the son of God himself. Remember the expression, godlike hero? So this is the song which Timotheus sang in the praise of Jove, and indirectly he sang in the praise of Alexander. A dragon's fiery form belied the god, sublime on radiant spires he rode, when he to fair Olympia pressed, and while he sought her snowy breast, then round her slender waist he curled, and stamped an image of himself, a sovereign of the world. Now, he is relating a story that Olympia, the mother of Alexander, was impregnated by Jove, because it is believed that Alexander could not be a common human being. So, how did Jove come on the earth? He came on the earth in the form of a dragon. Belied the god means he did not seem to look like a god at that time. He looked as a dragon. Dragon's fiery form belied the god means the god Jove disguised himself as a dragon's fiery form and sublime on radiant spire's hero. He is relating the story at the time of the birth of Alexander. So how did he come on the earth? Riding on sublime spires. When he to fair Olympia pressed, and while he sought her snowy breast. So here the poet wants to say that the god Zeus had an intercourse with Olympia, and as a result of that she became pregnant and Alexander was born. In other words, he wants to say that Alexander is not a common human being, but he is the son of God. Then round her slender waist he curled and stamped an image of himself. Stamped an image of himself means Alexander is an image of God himself, who was born from the womb of Olympia, a sovereign of the world. So, the child who was born was the sovereign of the world, was the king of the world. Now here the song stops and the poem starts. The listening crowd admire the lofty sound. A present deity they shout around. Now notice the effect of music on the listening crowd. All those people who were present in that party were so raptured, were so impressed by this song that they started admiring the lofty sound, that music, that sound, the song sung by Timotheus in the praise of God and in the praise of Alexander, a present deity. They were so impressed by that song that they were made to believe that Alexander is not a common human being, but he is a present deity. Deity means God. They shout around. They started shouting after listening to the music that Alexander is not a common human being, but he is a deity. So, thank you. It is now time to stop, and in my next class I will resume the poem. Thank you.